Hello everyone, how's it going? We've just watched Man United squeak by Rochdale by the skin of our teeth, trousers, hats, hair, whatever you want to call it. It wasn't by much. I'm joined with Kieran and we're going to do a little review. Let's have a few words from you, Kieran. Sum that game up in 3 words, if you will.
The clue was in the title. Let's not try to be too negative, okay? We won.
Okay.
We won.
We did win.
We did win.
And you know what? If we're going to win the Carling Cup, which seems almost impossible.
Yes. Carabao, actually. It's Carabao.
Sorry, my mistake. Sorry, Carabao. I didn't mean to disrespect you there. If we go on to win that by some miracle, something, let's say we have an upturn in form or we have a nice run in the competition, this result won't look so bad then, will it?
No, obviously not.
But that doesn't seem likely at the moment, and that was a terrible performance from United.
It's hard to pick out even a lot of individual performances, given the fact that Rochdale are a League One team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, someone said in the office just after that game, City's under 21s beat them 2-0. They didn't have a lot of chances, but I tell you what, they could have won that. If no one saw the game, you'd want to see Wan-Bissaka's block. It was a terrible miss from whoever it was.
There was one of their players bursting into the box. Did Rojo just kind of put himself in a position and just stayed still and let the man go past him, and he got right down to the touchline. It was sort of almost like 2 yards out, but on the goal line. Sort of just to the right of the goal, and then squared it across. What was he? 3, maybe 4 yards out at most.
And he shinned it and it bobbled, but it was still going in. But Wan-Bissaka just flicked it over the bar.
Yeah, it was a brilliant clearance, but it was just insane. It was just sort of evidence of how United struggled to even. I mean, to be fair, Rochdale didn't create many chances, but the fact that we created such big chances like that United had to defend, that United had to sort of really scramble to clear, it was a sort of a sign of how difficult United found that game again.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at the stats as well, we did dominate possession.
I think we dominated pretty much everything.
Every aspect of the game, but what was missing was what we've been missing for practically every game this season is half chances are being created, but we just don't have that Van Nistelrooy, that, striker who is going to put away those chances.
I mean, I said it at the start of the watch along and was sort of semi-laughed off because we hadn't seen, again, the same kind of thing that we went on to see, which is that, like I said, that continuing pattern of no one to put the ball in the back of the net. Look here, we see the stats, 31 shots, 8 shots on target, 31 shots, and a few of those that were off target, so they don't even seem like such great chances, were Pogba heading over from 7 yards,
Mason put a couple wide
as well.
Lingard flick on header
that went over the bar. Like, some of these chances that aren't even shots on target were good chances.
Yeah.
And like I said, I mentioned it at the start of the stream when we still had hope of a 4-5-0 win, like a lot of people thought we might. Would you like to see Zlatan Ibrahimovic back for a couple of months? Because we know he can put those balls in the back of the net. We're making the chances, and someone like him can bring that kind of confidence, that swagger back maybe a little bit, or do you think the ship sailed on that one?
No, I think when you talk about Zlatan, we know he's like an enigma. He's like, he doesn't follow the norms because he is a genetic freak, so to speak. But I think you look at his second spell here, fair enough, he came back from a serious injury, but he would be coming from the MLS back to the Premier League. He's been bagging them in the MLS, but I think I could at least notch up double digits in the MLS myself.
You think so?
I think so.
So would you just carry on with this sort of current trend then of we don't have the players who are going to put away those chances, we just have to hope? Like today we got by the skin of our teeth. We lost to West Ham, what was the final score? 4-0?
4-0 to Oxford.
They were losing 4-0 at least. I'm not sure on the final score, but that's a West Ham team that's wildly inconsistent. That as soon as they see any sign that they're under pressure, under the cosh, they start conceding goals. They get battered quite regularly. Yeah. Whereas United just couldn't put that pressure on them again. Couldn't transfer those chances into goals. It's just difficult to see where it's going to come from at the moment. There's still no timeline on when Martial's going to be back.
Yeah.
Do we know when Rashford's going to be back? That's going to be a lengthy one, isn't it?
You probably need him back for Monday because it's a lot for Mason to carry. Although I think Mason could definitely cause problems for Arsenal.
But Rashford with his groin injury, I doubt he's probably going to be out for a few weeks.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Chong was hot and cold today. He wasn't great.
Yeah.
Better than he was against Astana. I would like to see Angel Gomez involved. I'm not sure whether it's a knock. We were still trying to figure that out. I'm not sure we got to the bottom of it why he wasn't involved tonight.
No, we were told in the comments it was an injury, but that Solskjaer had said it was an injury, but I haven't seen him say that. But assuming that's true, some kind of injury to Gomez there. Pogba came back from injury. I was really looking forward to seeing him play before the game. I personally, despite Joe McGraw, who was on the watch-along's opinions, I personally think he's our best player. I think he's our most talented player. But he was poor today, wasn't he?
He was awful. But to be fair, you could probably maybe put that down to coming back from injury and being off the pace if it was a Premier League game against someone like West Ham, but it was at the end of the day against Rochdale.
Yeah,
and you would expect even a half-fit Paul Pogba to at least, and some of them, he was given some terrible passes today in behind, which is what you'd expect from Paul Pogba. What proved to me today is, the youngsters, they do look promising, but there is that lack of experience of quality players who are quality squad players, I would say.
Yeah.
Like, you've got teams like Liverpool who would have someone like Shaqiri playing a game like
and
this. Divock Origi as well.
It's amazing as well, because Liverpool, despite how many points they got last season and how good they've been for the last couple of years, their weakness throughout this whole period was considered to be their squad depth.
Yeah.
Like, it seemed like they had this really good starting 11, but once you start getting the subs involved, they don't really have that top quality. But now United's squad is thinner than anyone's.
Yeah.
Liverpool looks, like you said, Liverpool looks deep compared to United now, despite that being their supposed biggest weakness over these last few years. And it's just that depth, like you said, that we're looking at players like Brandon Williams, who I thought played quite well. He gave the ball away a couple of times, but he won the ball that ended up being played forward for United's goal, and we'll get onto that in a second. But we've got players like Brandon Williams coming through who, could be exciting, but again, we're just relying on. These aren't like just young players. These are players with no experience at all, and it's a struggle, and it's disappointing, and it's sad to see United again having to rely on such inexperienced players.
It tells you all you need to know that Mason Greenwood is being kind of touted as the next, not just United prospect, but England prospect.
Yeah.
And I think he is delivering, you say 2 goals in his last 2 starts. He is delivering. But it really shouldn't be like that, though. It shouldn't be a kid having that much pressure on him. It's not healthy. It's the kind of situation where, we've seen it with England a lot of the times, a highly touted England prospect. Not to say Mason is going to follow in that suit. I do think Mason will grow on to be a full England international and a successful one as well. But it's just... selling Lukaku, we talked about it on the stream. People will have split opinions. I do think it made sense to sell him because I think Ollie May pulled him to the side and said, "Look, you're not going to play." And I think maybe it would have made sense.
He'd be playing now, though.
He probably would be playing
now.
There's
no denying that.
And maybe Lukaku was like, "Look, I just don't want to." And fair enough, you let him go. But I do think there should have been someone brought in. Should have been someone Mandzukic or even Ben Yedder we were talking about as well. Although I don't think he's hit the ground running at Monaco. I'm pretty sure they were second bottom last time I checked. But
going back to Greenwood, like you said with England over the years, I do sort of have a similar feeling to that, like how we sort of hung our hat on people like young prospects like Walcott. Well, United, but England. We're looking for Walcott, looking at Wilshere, looking at these young players and putting so much pressure on them that it almost stunts their ability to grow because they're expected to do too much. And hopefully, Greenwood again, it was almost like you were saying during the watch along, the position he found himself in on that right wing, sort of square between the edge of the penalty spot, the edge of the penalty box and the edge of the 6-yard box. Against Astana last week, he did a little step over, went onto his right foot and put it in. This time, he did a little step over, went onto his left foot and put it in. A really good finish again, but it's a struggle that we're relying on such young players. And Dan James, who came on again, I thought he looked like one of our best players. Yeah. He's 21. We just signed him for £15 million from Swansea, and he's the man we have to go to win us games. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, people were saying that the clear out was going to take a few years, and it will be a few. You can't get rid of the whole squad. You can't get rid of Jones Small, everyone in one window. Bringing in 3 players probably wasn't enough, but I see these Muppets on Twitter, man. The Ollie out movement, Ollie's silly. Not perfect. Ollie is not going to win us the league. We all know that, but he's bringing back. We're not making these £80 million signings who probably would have played as well as Pogba today. Yeah. But anyway, we're
spending that money on people like Maguire, who has been touted for a couple of years, who's in English, he's 26, but that's relatively young for a centre back, rather than people like Di Maria, who came and was looking, is an obvious example. But I think the idea that they're putting together is a good one. Yeah. Is in theory at least buying young players that want to play for the shirt, and also buying English players. Aside from the whole it's English, we're English. English players tend to be less interested in Barcelona, Real Madrid, whereas every player from basically outside of England dreams of playing for one of these big European teams. So you're sort of less likely to lose these players. I can see the thought behind it. But like I said, it's going to take a long time. And the idea that we're going to be getting rid of Solskjaer anytime soon, I think to start this process again for what would be the 5th time in 7 years would just be ludicrous as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and you're looking as well. My big worry for this season is when the Europa League campaign starts getting underway and when those air miles start and further injuries start, what are we going to do if Mason picks up a knock or is out for even 4 to 6 weeks?
Well, Solskjaer did text me the other week. He said, if you needed, have you got a pair of shin pads?
So you're on speed dial.
I don't think I'll be in the first 11, but I think as a squad member, maybe on the bench.
Maybe a bit of run out in the car.
He saw the footage of me missing the penalty shootout for Stretford Paddock. Moving on to the next game then, straight after the games, we saw the draw. United have got Chelsea away at Stamford Bridge.
Producer Cam is buzzing that he will be suffering another 4-0 defeat as he's opening his FIFA packs behind the camera there. Hasn't gotten anyone tonight. I couldn't be happier.
Do you think that game, that 4-0 obviously at Old Trafford, will play any part in that game? Do you think, because Chelsea seem like a team sort of on the up slightly. Yeah. They've got free scoring Tammy Abraham up front for them. And United look like a team sort of on the slide. Do you think that 4-0 earlier in the season will play any effect in that game? I
think it may play even further into Chelsea's hands because let's face it, that game could have easily been 2 or 3-1 to Chelsea at half time.
Yeah, that's
and then they get United get the second goal and then quick session third, fourth, and Chelsea kind of fell to bits. And Chelsea have been free scoring as they were. Tammy Abraham even hit the post within the first 3 minutes at Old Trafford?
Yeah, but really early on.
I think Chelsea will come. They'll probably play their kids as well. I think Chelsea probably have, they have as highly touted prospects as we do. You look at Hudson-Odoi.
Who scored tonight, I think, for Chelsea.
We're not surprised what they win, like 8-1, something
Let's
like
not
that.
worry about that.
What was it, 7-1? 7-1, yeah. It'd be a good game, to be fair. I think it'll be interesting just to look at. I think both teams will go youthful, and it'd be just a good, energetic watch.
Yeah, and I think personally, I would rather see us, play against someone like Chelsea. I think we'll get the best. What is the best that we have to offer? We'll have to see. Yeah. It might be we might get beaten quite easily by Chelsea, but I think we will see something closer to the best we have to offer in a bigger game like that. Yeah. So I'm excited to see us playing against a top team. Let us know in the comments what you think to the Chelsea draw. Are you excited to see us playing against a top team, or are you worried that we're just going to get absolutely trounced? Would you have rather got an easy draw? I think that Liverpool, Arsenal is the big game, I'd say. So one of those are going out, and obviously let's not get carried away and think that we've got much chance of winning this tournament. But
you were saying, sorry to interrupt as well, I was just thinking there, I was looking at the draw, you were saying it's I think when you look at some of the teams that have bowed out, a lot of Premier League teams have bowed out over the last few days. Sheffield United, West Ham, Spurs, obviously. Yeah. Who else bowed out as well? Someone else lost tonight. Bournemouth, I think, got beaten by Burton Albion. Yeah, there was a lot of Premier League teams, and City or Liverpool are going to end up in that final.
City have got an easy draw again. I can't remember who's against. Southampton. It's not that easy, I suppose, but it's...
Nah, come on, like that. They could beat Watford 8-0.
When's the last time City drew a top team in any competition?
I was saying, I'm pretty sure it might be when we beat them in the League Cup and Mata scored the winner.
I went to that game.
I swear that was the last time they got a 50-50 draw in a cup. That wasn't past like the semi-finals or whatever, but...
Yeah.
Oxford versus Sunderland. Whoa, strap yourselves in for that, people of Oxford.
Before we get too carried away with all of the draws tonight, thank you very much for joining me. Thanks very much for joining at home. We've got quite a lot of viewers on the watch along as well, so that was nice to see everyone in there. Let us know again what you think to the result, what you think to that Chelsea draw. We're going to be doing, hopefully, we're going to have a bit of fun video tomorrow, aren't we? Maybe a little quiz.
Maybe.
We'll see how that
Stay
goes.
tuned. Yeah. Stay tuned. Just maybe another episode of End to End.
Yeah, something to take our minds off recent performances anyway. Again, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for joining me. And we'll see you next time.